But the rest of you, enjoy this wonderful intro. All right, welcome to TWIG, your weekly, geekly, family-friendly news show that tackles everything from the Legend of Zelda movie to the latest indie world announcements with some games in between. If you're listening on the podcast, be sure to give us a good review. Click that like button if you're on YouTube, or come on and listen live on Twitch, maybe TikTok and YouTube every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Folks, we're going to start out as we always do with our what did you watch? What did you play? What did you read this past weekend? What are you getting into? What have been some things in your lives going on right now? Let me know in the chat wherever you might be, whether it's on Twitch, TikTok, or YouTube. Be sure to drop in the chat. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you playing? As for me, I am finally catching up on all of my beloved anime. I am so bought in to Freyren, you guys. I think it is my favorite of a while. I think it's definitely going to be a nerdy sermon. It is a 10 out of 10 for me. It just got even better. It was already really, really good, and then it just got even better recently, so I am loving Freyren. I'm also catching up on Mushoku Tensei, Dead Mount Death Play. Those are the three that I'm kind of booking through right now. I've got a couple more that are on the docket as we go through the season. Tall Skinny Kiwi says on Twitch, I'm getting into Web3 games in spatial.io. Very interesting. I'm playing a visual novel. For those of you that don't know, I go through my backlog, and I finally am getting around to the visual novel Steins Gate. A big game. Been around a long time. Quite the icon in the science game visual novel series, and excited to finally, at long last, be reading that one. It is long. It is a bit boring. It's a tough one because it puts me to sleep as I'm like trying to read it in my bed at night with the only time that I have left to play video games, but I'm into it so far. And then reading, I'm currently reading the second book in the Wayward Pines series, and I am also reading with our Checkpoint Church book club, Johannes Cabal the Necromancer. So if you have read either of those books, let me know, and let me know what you think about them. Also, remember, if you're in the chat, let me know, what did you watch? What did you play? What did you read? Back over on Twitch, Madman Gaming says Red Dead Redemption 2 and Steelers football have been what I have been doing lately. And then Mayfly says, Dark Urge BG3 run, baby. What Dark Urge run is this for you, Mayfly? Is this still number 2, or are you on number 3 or 4? Or how are you doing as far as that goes? I would love to hear more about that Dark Urge run. But as we get into that, we're actually going to move into our first news article. Our first news article for today is about the Game Awards. They officially announced their nominations. Game Awards 2023 have announced their nominations across various categories. Key nominations include Game of the Year, which is Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Another big category is Best Game Direction, which is the same as the Game of the Year category. Best Narrative, we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Marvel Spider-Man 2. Best Art Direction, we have Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Best Score and Music, they didn't list all of them for some reason, and it hurts my feelings because they especially did not list what I believe is the best score and music of the year. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, and Tears of the Kingdom, and then I think there were a few others, but I definitely think Tears of the Kingdom takes it as far as I'm concerned. If you want to watch the Game Awards with us, we're going to be watching it probably live. We'll see. I'll probably be on stream as we watch it on December 7th, 7:30 Eastern Time, or 4:30 Pacific, live from the Peacock Theater. So voting is currently open. I've already voted. I hope that you will vote as well. Get that 10% vote in, or whatever it is that they give to the viewers of the show. But let me know, what are your thoughts on the Game Awards? We have a full list of all of my thoughts on our VOD yesterday that I'm going to try to put together a clip reel of so that I can put more information behind it rather than do it right now, because we'll be here for the rest of the day if I try to get through all the rest of the pieces of news. All right, next up, our next article. The Legend of Zelda is potentially getting a movie. The upcoming Legend of Zelda movie is shaping up to be a major event in the gaming and film communities. Here's a summary of the key details that we have so far. Development and production, there are conflicting reports regarding the format of the film. One source mentions that Illumination, known for Despicable Me and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, is developing an animated film adaptation. However, multiple other sources, including Nintendo's official announcements, confirm the development of a live-action film. So we're kind of on the fence about what exactly happens there. The director will probably be Wes Ball, notable for directing the Maze Runner trilogy, as well as a bunch of flops. He's been confirmed as the director of the live-action Legend of Zelda movie. The screenplay writer, the screenplay is being written by Derek Connolly, recognized for his work on Jurassic World trilogy, Kong Skull Island, and the Detective Pikachu movie. The producer is Avi Arad, an Israeli-American film producer with a history of working on Marvel IP films, has involved in the production through his company Arad Productions. Casting details, there have not been any yet. Release date, there has not been any yet. Funding, of course, it's being funded by Nintendo along with Sony Pictures. Given the early stage of the production, many details, including the cast and exact release date, are still going to be under wraps. We shouldn't be surprised by any of that information. Hopefully, it'll be good. I'm optimistic. I agree with Tropic Turtle over on Twitch saying that Zelda movie is long overdue, to be honest. Hardcore agree. I think it's about time that we start seeing, hearing, experiencing some of this. I look forward to a hopeful, wonderful future of more Nintendo films. I did not hate the Mario movie by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't particularly care for Chris Pratt as the lead, but by no means did I dislike the film. And I think Legend of Zelda is a wonderful series filled with a lot of good storytelling and stories as well. So hopefully we'll see some great stuff. And then back from Game Awards conversation, Mayfly over on Twitch says, Neil for best VA, only possible option, no others exist. I don't know what you're talking about. All I can see, the only eyes I have are for Idris Elba. So we'll see which one of us wins out in the end. It's probably going to be you, Mayfly. All right, next up, our next news piece is Netflix. Geeked Week 2023 was a showcase of excitement, offering glimpses into various upcoming projects across different genres and formats. Here's a roundup of some of those key highlights. There was a new live-action series teaser officially for Yu Yu Hakusho. The live-action series is set to release on December 14th, 2023. Wait, is it really that soon? I didn't realize it was that soon. Oh, I'm so excited! I promised to bring the beloved anime to life. Similarly, Avatar: The Last Airbender is getting its live-action version, set for release on February 22nd, 2024. Both teasers have generated significant interest, raising hopes for these adaptations. Y'all, Yu Yu Hakusho is one of my favorite things of all time. I cannot wait to see it. I don't even care if it's good or bad. I just want to see it. Sequels, new projects announced during Geek Week. The horror series Sweet Home will return with its second season on December 1st, 2023. This follows the success of its first season and promises even more thrilling content. Additionally, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, the new epic space opera, is coming to Netflix on December 22nd, 2023. This marks a departure from his previous work on the Army of the Dead franchise. We'll see what else comes out of that. I'm sure we'll see more about that at the Game Awards, because I remember we saw that last year. Exciting anime news. The Terminator franchise is expanding into new territory with Terminator the Anime Series, a collaboration between Netflix and Production IG. Although the release date is yet to be announced, this marks a significant move for the franchise. Ultraman Rising, an animated film, is also set for a 2024 release. Some continuations in new ventures. Sonic Prime will return for its third season in 2024, continuing the adventures of Sega's iconic mascot. Additionally, Netflix announced a range of other projects set for release in the coming years, including the Umbrella Academy Season 4, Damsel, Gunsing Creature, Orion in the Dark, Leo, Leave the World Behind, Three Body Problem, Dead Boy Detectives, and The Brothers' Son. Showcasing the platform's commitment to diverse and genre-spanning content. New games coming to Netflix, which is now trying to establish itself as a gaming entity. In addition to TV and movie announcements, Netflix is bringing several acclaimed games to mobile for its members. And honestly, I'm kind of here for it. We got titles like Braid Anniversary Edition, Hades, Katana Zero, and Death's Door. They're all set to join the platform, enhancing the game's offerings. And I think that's just about it for Geeked Week. I always enjoy Geeked Week and getting to see the whole look at all the wonderful things that Netflix is getting into. I'm pretty optimistic. I think this looks pretty good for Netflix. I think we got a good future ahead, and at least a good couple of years of hopefully some time for them to get traction and figure out what in the world they want to do, and hopefully not hike that price up even more dollar bills over the next couple months. Next up, The Completionist. The Open Hand Foundation, a charity founded by YouTuber The Completionist Gerard Khalil and his family, is facing accusations of withholding over $600,000 in funds intended for dementia research. Reports indicate that despite the foundation's claims of supporting dementia research and various organizations like UCSF, there's no evidence of any funds being dispersed for these purposes. The foundation, established as a nonprofit in 2014, allegedly has the entirety of the raised funds in their bank account. Carl Jobs from Some Ordinary Gamers, other YouTubers have delved into the issue, highlighting discrepancies in the allegations. Despite them, Khalil maintains that he was unaware until 2021 that the funds hadn't been allocated and is actively seeking a suitable recipient for the money. However, due to past discrepancies, there's a call for transparent proof of any future donations. This is hard to hear. I'm a big fan of Gerard. I think he's great, and I think that his Indie Fest especially is something to really be envied. I think he does a good job putting that together, and I think that considering that this is what his mother, I believe, passed from, I'm sure this is a cause that is close to his heart. I don't know what exactly is going on behind the scenes, where the disconnect and the lack of conversation is happening or the lack of transparency. I will fully expect Gerard to say something. I think that Gerard is a good guy and probably will come into the forefront with some kind of response better than what we've gotten so far in the near future. Of course, in the act of do-goodery that we would have here at Checkpoint Church, of course, they need to use those funds for the attributed sources. They need to use them for the proper places and disperse them ideally promptly. As someone that does deal in nonprofit monies, it is always better if you can get the funds out the door quickly. The quicker you can get them out, the better, because it does look bad whenever you're holding on to funds that are for charitable causes and nonprofit causes. So hopefully that takes a turn in the very, very near future. Next up, Tiffany and Pokemon. Tiffany & Co. has teamed up with the Pokemon universe and artist Daniel Arsham to create a unique limited time capsule collection. This collaboration blends the worlds of luxury jewelry and Pokemon, offering pieces crafted from oxidized sterling silver and select items in 18-karat yellow gold with diamonds. The collection, featuring a range of 9 products, is priced between $1,290 and $29K, catering to a diverse range of budgets and tastes. I don't know about that. I think it sounds like one budget, and the budget is more than mine. The capsule collection is set to be available in select locations and online. It will be sold at the Tiffany & Co. Landmark in New York City, the Omotesando store in Tokyo, and on Tiffany's website in North America and Japan. This launch is scheduled for early December, offering fans and collectors a chance to own a piece of this exclusive and creative collaboration. This collaboration represents a unique intersection of luxury jewelry and popular culture, showcasing the ability of brands like Tiffany & Co. to innovate and engage with diverse audiences through creative partnerships. So pretty interesting stuff. I always like to see that Pokemon remains to be the great collaborator. They cannot be stopped. They will always be the ones that are collaborating with everyone everywhere all the time. It is a part of the reason why the franchise is as long staying as it is that they maintain a view in your vision of gaming and refuse to ever let go, which is good. I like Pokemon, so it's good for me. But if you're not a fan of Pokemon, I would imagine you're kind of just rolling your eyes at yet another way that Pokemon is making money. All right, next up, our last news story for tonight. Indie World was this morning, for those of you that got a chance to watch it. In the November 2023 Indie World Showcase, Nintendo presented, by the way, can we just say how much I missed them when they called it the Nindies? I thought Nindies was so much better. Anyway, Nintendo presented a diverse array of indie games coming to the Nintendo Switch. Key highlights included Shantae Advance Risky Revolution, a sequel to the original Shantae game, completing a 20-year journey. This action-adventure platformer features classic gameplay elements and a new mechanic for navigating levels, expected in 2024. Also coming to the Switch officially is Outer Wilds, the Archaeologist Edition, an open-world mystery game with an expansion Echoes of the Eye, is releasing on December 7th, 2023. We all know my thoughts on that game. I can't imagine possibly playing it on the Switch, as if it isn't bad enough. On Your Tail, a narrative life sim set in an Italian-flavored village with a detective twist, launching in 2024 as a timed console exclusive. Always love to see that. Backpack Hero, a management roguelike focusing on organizing a backpack to unleash powers, available later today, so probably right now. Maybe some of you are playing Backpack Hero as we speak. Moonstone Island, a creature-collecting open-world life sim with 100 islands, is coming in spring 2024 as a timed console exclusive. Highland Song, a narrative-led 2.5D platformer, with rhythm action elements set in the Scottish Highlands, launching on December 5th, 2023. And then finally, Howl, a tactical folktale with turn-based combat in a world affected by a plague spread through sound, launching later today with a demo available. So a pretty nice little lineup, not too bad for the indies. I think that Nintendo remains to be just kind of the indie developer. I'm excited to see what they come up with next, and I always like to keep up with all the wonderful things that they do. So if you have any thoughts on any of that wonderful stuff that we've talked about so far, be sure to let me know in the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts on any of the games that we talked about, the events that we talked about, the controversies that we talked about, or anything in between. Glad that you are here again with us, and we're going to move now into everybody's favorite segment of the show, Cryptic Critiques. That's right, it is Cryptic Critiques. This is our game show here on our weekly geekly news show, Twig, in which I'm going to present you a 5-star game, but I'm going to give you 1 star. So just 1-star reviews this go around. What is 1-star reviews of a 5-star game? Can you guess the game before we get to the third one? Go ahead and start guessing in the chat as soon as you think you might have an idea of what this one is. The first prompt is... This is a 1-star review for a 5-star game. First prompt is, eating a piece of plain white bread untoasted. Somebody thought this was a review for this game and their experience playing the game. This game is akin to eating a piece of plain white bread untoasted. Any guesses? Any guesses in the chat? Go ahead and drop them if you got them. Next up, our second prompt. This is, my face when the modern open world action game is a snooze fest. And then they're doing this. My face when the modern open world action game is a snooze fest. Oh no, I believe it's sarcastic. So far we have two clues. Eating a piece of plain white bread untoasted. Second one, my face when the modern open world action game is a snooze fest. And then the final prompt, here we go. If you've got your guesses, go ahead and start typing them, launch them out there. I see Home Alone. It is not Home Alone. It is not I Am Bread. I do like those guesses. Good, solid thoughts. I see what you're doing here. Our third and final prompt before I give it away and tell you what it is. How can Ubisoft get hate for bland open worlds, yet Sony does the same thing and nobody panics? How can Ubisoft get hate for bland open worlds, yet Sony does the same thing and nobody panics? So, to sum it up, for those of you that are locking in your guesses, first off, eating a piece of plain white bread untoasted. Second, my face when the modern open world action game is a snooze fest. And 3, how can Ubisoft get hate for bland open worlds, yet Sony does the same thing and nobody panics? Last chance for a guess. If you haven't typed it in now, I'm about to press the button. The correct answer, Zando, is Horizon Zero Dawn. Chats in the clap for Zando, snagging it right there at the last second. Yes, that is correct. This was the one. I found some real mean reviews of this game. There were some really mean ones, but these I thought were just funny and not too mean. This is one game that I particularly haven't played, so it was a little bit tough to know, but you know, I thought it felt pretty vanilla, so we'll see if anybody reacts too harshly to that one. It would have been perfect if it was I Am Bread. I agree. I wish I would have thought of it as like a false answer, you know, to like first give them that one and then pull the rug out from underneath. Be genius. All right, we're gonna go to the next segment in the show. To the Discord. That's right. If you would like to submit news to us, you can go to bit.ly/DearTwig, DearTwig. Let us know what news is going on in your life. Send that our way so that we can make sure that we get the news on the docket. And we're going to start with our first piece of news here for today, which comes from Mayfly. It is not the chocolate Xbox controller. I'm so sorry. Mayfly. Baldur's Gate 3 makes history at the 2023 Golden Joystick Awards, breaking records with a stunning 7 award wins, including the coveted Ultimate Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate 3, developed by Larian Studios, achieved a remarkable milestone at the 2023 Golden Joystick Awards. This critically acclaimed game secured the prestigious title of Ultimate Game of the Year, marking a significant achievement in the competitive gaming landscape. Its success didn't stop there. Baldur's Gate 3 went on to claim an impressive total of 7 awards, setting a new record for the most awards won by a single game in the 41-year history of the Golden Joystick Awards. The game's array of awards included Best Storytelling, acknowledging the depth and quality of the narrative, which has been a standout aspect of the game. Additionally, Baldur's Gate 3 was recognized for its best visual design, highlighting the game's aesthetic appeal and the effort put into its graphical presentation. These achievements underscore the game's excellence in various aspects, from its storytelling and visual design to its overall impact on the gaming community. The sweeping victory at the Golden Joystick Awards demonstrates the game's exceptional quality and the strong impression it has made in the gaming world. Folks, I am getting a little bit nervous for my beloved Tears of the Kingdom for the Game Awards. I am worried that Baldur's Gate is going to sweep. I really like Baldur's Gate a whole lot, but I don't know how I feel about it just absolutely sweeping and demolishing. And it's looking pretty likely. So, you know, I hope not, but I think that the odds are certainly there. And I'm not super optimistic about Tears of the Kingdom taking the crown. I sure hope so, man. I like Tears of the Kingdom so much, but Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate. It's a phenomenon. There's no doubt about it. All right, we're gonna move into the next one. Next piece of news submitted from our Discord. We have a little news about the Steam Deck. This is from Russ. Valve elevates handheld gaming with the introduction of the Steam Deck OLED, blending enhanced visual experiences with portable convenience, set to revolutionize how we game on the go from November 16th. Valve has announced the release of the Steam Deck OLED, a new version of their popular handheld gaming device. The device is set to be available from November 16th, featuring significant enhancements over its predecessor. It includes an improved OLED display, better audio, alongside various quality of life improvements. The Steam Deck OLED will be offered in 2 storage capacity options, a 512GB SSD model priced at $549.99, and a 1TB variant for $649.99. There's also a limited edition 1TB version, though its price has not been specified in the sources I found. This update signifies Valve's commitment to improving their handheld gaming offerings, aligning with the growing market trends of portable gaming devices. Folks, I'm going to be real here. You know, I got the Switch OLED, and I can't tell the difference. I don't know if it's just that I'm not necessarily like tuned in to the graphical fidelity world, and maybe there's something going on there, but I have no clue. I have no clue about the difference. I honestly probably could have just kept the old Switch and really had no idea. I liked the better battery life. I liked some of the improvements and things that they did, but for the most part, I didn't really get a big shock whenever I upgraded. So as much as I love my Steam Deck, I can't imagine upgrading to the OLED. I think that I'm just going to keep it exactly where it is until they give me better options somewhere, somehow, which I don't think this one really did. So let me know if you're thinking about getting the OLED Steam Deck, if you'll let me look at it and see if it's worth the price, because I am thinking it is probably not. Next up, our last news story submitted by one of our viewers. This one is from Cameron Humar Whithill. Sony Interactive Entertainment rewrites its gaming destiny. Sony Interactive Entertainment, SIE, has announced a significant shift in its live service game release strategy, initially planning to launch 12 live service titles by the fiscal year ending in March 2026. Sony has now decided to reduce this number by half. This decision stems from a rigorous portfolio review conducted in partnership with Destiny studio Bungie, leading to the scaling back of some projects due to quality concerns. Sony's president emphasized the goal of ensuring these games are enjoyed and appreciated by gamers for an extended period. Among the titles still in development are games online based on The Last of Us, the Horizon series, as well as an original IP from PlayStation's London studio. The collaboration with Bungie has significantly influenced the development of these live service games, making a notable shift from Sony's traditional focus on single-player narrative-driven games to a more sustained and evolving game experience. I think less is more. I'm just fine with any game studio ever maybe stepping back just a notch and focusing up a little bit more on the games that they create. I think that we get a lot of games, we get enough games, and sometimes we get games that really should have stayed in the cooker just a little bit longer. Take a look at Gollum, although I think there was no hope for Gollum because it was probably a Ponzi scheme of some sorts. But nevertheless, I think that more time to work on a game is never going to be a bad thing, never something I'm going to turn a thumbs down to. I will take it and run with it. So let me know your thoughts on any of those news stories. If you have any thoughts on Sony stepping back, or Baldur's Gate winning all those awards, or the Valve OLED, or anything else we've talked about tonight so far. But we're going to go ahead and get into my favorite segment of the show, even if it's not everyone else's.
At this point in nerd history.
That is right. It is at this point in history, at this point in nerd history, all of the things that happened today in nerd history throughout time and space. We got some games, we got some movies, and we got a couple random facts thrown in there. So this is everything that has happened on November 14th throughout time and space that I could find on the internet. So what games were released on November 14th? We got in 2017, and we have a sweep of 3 games. We have Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire was originally released. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 was released. And then a game that broke my heart, Harvest Moon Light of Hope. It just really did not live up to my Harvest Moon love. I think it was the first time I really realized and it truly clicked that these just do not work. 2012, November 14th, 2012, we had the official release of the Candy Crush Saga. Wow, dude, can you believe it? Candy Crush? That's wild. The fact that it's been 11 years since Candy Crush. I mean, I loved me some Candy Crush back in the days. Then we got another pretty interesting day. I'm sad that Buish isn't here, but 2006, Bionicle Heroes released. On the same day, the infamous Sonic 06. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 released on this exact day in time. 1 year prior, November 14th, 2005, Mario Kart DS released. 2003, we have two pretty different games, Beyond Good and Evil, and then Mario Kart Double Dash, released on the same day. And let's see, we've got 2001, we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, released on the Game Boy Color, pretty interesting. 2000, we have Final Fantasy 9 releasing. 1997, we have the original Postal game coming out on the PC. And then 1996, we have Tomb Raider. This is a pretty big day throughout time and space for a lot of pretty infamous games there. Isn't there some story about Candy Crush, the original design, actually being stolen from an indie dev? Pretty sure that's a thing. I have no idea, but I'd be very interested in reading more about that. It wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me one little bit. All right, now we got some movies. Movies coming out throughout time and space on this day. November 14th in 2008, we have Quantum of Solace, the most forgettable James Bond movie that maybe there's ever been. 2003, Looney Tunes Back in Action, which I actually saw a clip today on TikTok, so that's kind of ironic. And then Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, came out on the same day as Looney Tunes Back in Action. Who'da thunk? And then we got some random facts in here just to throw on top. 1972, I did not realize this was even a thing, but in 1972, on November 14th, Blue Ribbon Sports became Nike. I did not know that Nike was not always Nike, but Nike was apparently Blue Ribbon Sports before that. In 1922, the British Broadcasting Corporation began a domestic radio service. That's pretty neat. And then in 1851, Herman Melville's novel, Moby Dick, was first published in the U.S. Pretty interesting. That's a great one. I love the history stuff as well. I especially love learning about the really, really interesting ones that go way on back in time, such as Moby Dick coming over into the States or Blue Ribbon Sports, but I also do love the game. So let us know in the chat if you have any thoughts about any of those. Mayfly says over on Twitch, Tomb Raider. Everyone remembers the T-Rex. No one remembers the zombie centaurs or the flesh tunnels. I remember very little about it because I did not ever own a PlayStation. So that one does not stick in the brain all too well. All right. Next up, we're going to get into another segment of the show. Here we go. It is time for upcoming releases. So this is what is in the week ahead. The week ahead in the world of TV, movies, comics, games, DLC, all that kind of stuff. Before we get into that, Tall Skinny Kiwi over on Twitch says in 1977, I discovered Pong on Atari on a friend's TV. That is amazing. And then what's even crazier is I literally made Pong the other day with ChatGPT. It's just bonkers, isn't it? Technology just doesn't even make sense anymore. Okay. Let's get into some upcoming releases. This is what's coming out on the TV, on the good old-fashioned television in the next week. Today, we actually have NCIS Sydney. I don't know if that's the new season or the show just starting, but I can only imagine an Australian version of NCIS, and it kind of makes me want to giggle. On the 17th, over on Apple TV, we have a series called Monarch, Legacy of the Monsters, getting started. The one that I'm really excited about is on Netflix on the 17th. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is finally hitting the airwaves. I've been so excited ever since we first got a tease about this Scott Pilgrim show, and now I am even more amped than I ever was. I cannot wait to see how it turns out. Something that I have heard is that this one is going to be different than the Scott Pilgrim that you know and love. I didn't realize that it was going to be different, and now I'm all sorts of excited for a new story from our beloved O'Malley. And then on the 18th, we have a TV series called Kennedy, hitting the History Channel. Coming out in movies in the next week, another Kennedy one. We have JFK, What the Doctors Saw, coming out on Paramount Plus right now. David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived, is coming to Max, HBO Max. So for those of you that may remember, that is the stunt double for Daniel Radcliffe that I believe had some sort of accident and wound up paralyzed or something like that, but did manage to survive. And so it's an exploration into his life and his story. On the 17th, we have A Family Affair coming to Netflix with Zac Efron and his curly hair. Another on the 17th is Dashing Through the Snow coming to Disney+. Maxine's Baby, the Tyler Perry story, is coming to Prime. December is coming to Netflix. Looks pretty good, actually. Natalie Portman, here for it. Next Goal Wins is coming to theaters. Please Don't Destroy is coming to Peacock, which is very, very interesting. I have followed these guys since a long time ago on TikTok, and I had no idea that they were getting their own show. So that's super exciting. Another on the 17th, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Another one in the Hunger Games series is officially reaching us. And then at long lost for my daughter, Trolls Band Together is coming out in theaters on the 17th. Can't wait to hear more of those songs. Mayfly, you are on it tonight. You said that it was part one of Deathly Hallows. You're pretty sure. And why do you know all these things? You are chock full of information specifically for tonight's stream. Tall Skinny Kiwi says, all the light we cannot see on Netflix is worth watching. I read the book 6 years ago. Very good. Nice to know. Some comic books. Comic books coming out in the next week. Today, we have Parliament of Rooks hitting the comic book shelves. And then tomorrow, a comic book iteration of Star Wars Visions. Don't tell Cameron, anybody, because he would not be excited to know this. But Star Wars Visions is hitting your shelves as well. So that should be something exciting in the next day. Finally, we're going to get into the forever long list of games. So get ready for all of the games coming out in the next week. Coming out today, we're going to start with the 14th. Ark Survival Ascended. Astral Ascent. Boiling Point, Road to Hell, Gods of the Twilight, Invincible presents Adam Eve, Karma Zoo, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Refined Self, the personality test game. I was very interested in this one. I already queued it. UFO Robot Grindizer, The Feast of the Wolves. And then coming out tomorrow, the 15th, we have American Arcadia. I loved the demo. Very excited for more of that one. Checkmate Showdown, Lake Season's Greetings, The Last Faith, Wizardom, Zips Cafe. And then on the 16th, we have Anvil Saga, Flashback 2, Iron Strike, Sociable Soccer 24, The Kinderman Remedy, The Muller-Powell Principle, Universe for Sale, Johanna the Parhelion, Blaze in the Deep Blue. And then on the 17th, we have Barton Lynch Pro Surfing, Bluey, the video game, Naruto and Bardo, Ultimate Ninja Storm Connections, Persona 5 Tactica, Super Mario RPG, The Smurfs Learn and Play, The Walking Dead Destinies, Tiger Blade, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin, and then on the 20th we have In Stars and Time. Okay, let's breathe together. Can we just, we got it. We did it. We made it through. We made it to the end of all those games. Some of the ones that are the most exciting for me personally. American Arcadia, I'm super hyped about. Refined Self, the personality test game, looks like the indie game that is just right up my alley. Bluey for my daughter, Persona 5 Tactica, and Super Mario RPG are definitely on my list. And then In Stars and Time is the Undertale-like that we played a demo of that I'm super into as well. Coming out in the VR world, we have a game coming out on the 16th, Assassin's Creed Nexus VR on the 16th. And then in the DLC world, we have the latest expansion pack in Hearthstone, Showdown in the Badlands, releasing today. And then in 2 days, we have the DLC, finally, for Dredge, The Pale Reach. Will be hitting the market on the 16th. So there you go. There is all of your exciting, wonderful, delightful upcoming releases. Let me know. What are you planning on watching? What are you planning on playing, reading, any of those wonderful things in the upcoming week? I'm super excited for a lot of these, and I hope that you are also excited. With that, we're going to get into our Meme of the Week.
Meme of the Week.
Our meme this week comes from the one and only Mayfly, who has just been on it tonight. This is really just Mayfly's twig, if we're being totally honest about it tonight. And it is this wonderful Matrix meme that says, born too late to buy a $50,000 house, born too soon to be a teen TikTok star, born just in time to have 2 monitors and a light-up keyboard. Yep, absolutely. Hardcore relate, right in the feels, all those wonderful words. Yeah, super fun meme. Always a good time. If you would like to be considered for our meme of the week, just go over to our Discord and we would be happy to check those memes and goofs section. Whatever gets the most reactions is the one that I typically grab from. So there you go. If you want to be featured as our meme of the week next week, that is what you should do. With that, we're going to get into the end of our show today. This has been, folks, Twig, your weekly, geekly, family-friendly news show delivered live on twitch.tv/checkpointchurch, as well as tonight on TikTok and YouTube, keeping your family connected to the world of nerdy news. If you watched this far, then you likely enjoyed this one. Remember to give us a 5-star on your podcast app if that's where you're listening. Click that like button, follow if you haven't already, and recommend the show to all of your wonderful favorite nerds. And we're going to wrap up as well as say, is there Twig next week? Yes, there is Twig next week. Be sure to make sure that you tune in next Tuesday night. And with that, we're going to end this one as we always do with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. Whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church, hate God, hate church, we still believe these 3 things to be true about every single one of you. Number 1, we believe that God loves you like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you like really, really love you. And number 3, we believe that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, until the next time that I see ya, bye-bye.